What if I told you that the responsible thing to do, which is saving your money, is only making you poorer every day? I know it defies the norm, right? It doesn't sound like what you've been told, what your community has told you, what your parents have told you right from when you were growing up. It just defies the norm. I mean, how is saving making me poorer? It's not logical, right? But here's the thing. If you live in a country, especially one like Nigeria, that is very volatile, very uncertain, very complex, and often ambiguous, inflation is that silent killer of wealth that we often do not pay attention to. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how this concept called inflation, often overlooked, is a silent killer and a silent eroder of wealth creation. So let's say I give 3 people 100,000 naira. They are supposed to hold that 100,000 naira over the course of 3 years. Now, one person puts their 100,000 naira in a savings account, which on an average has a 6% interest rate. Over the course of 3 years, in year one, that 100,000 naira is going to become 106,000 naira. In year two, the 100,000 naira is going to become 112,360 naira. And then by year three, the 100,000 naira will become 119,101 naira. Another person puts this 100,000 naira in the money market fund. Now, guys, just for informational purposes, over the last 5 years, the money market fund has grown from about 8% to 24%, right? Of which in 2025, within the period of 2025 to 2026, it had actually seen a serious spike, right? But since 2020 up until 2025, it has grown from 8% to 24%. And then when you do the average of the interest rate over these last 5 years, it's 14%. So the second person decides that, you know what, I'm going to put my 100,000 naira in the money market fund. By year one, that 100,000 becomes 114,000. It becomes 114,000 naira, right? By year two, the 100,000 naira becomes 129,960 naira. And then by year three, it is 148,154 naira. From 2021 to 2025, which is a span of 5 years, the average inflation rate that we've had in Nigeria is 23%. The average inflation rate that we've had in Nigeria over the last 5 years is 23%. As at 2021, the interest rate was about 16.95%. 2022, 18%. 2023, 24%. 2024, there was a total spike, 33%. And as of last year, 2025, because of course this is a full calendar year that we are currently recording, it was 23%. When you do the average over the last 5 years, the inflation rate has been 23%. Now, this person now even decides that I'm not buying anything, I'm just going to leave my money. Over the course of 3 years, this is what a 23% inflation will look like on your 100,000 naira. The 100,000 naira that it will have cost you to pay for that good and service, when I gave you the money, right? If you didn't pay for it at that time, by year one, you will be paying 123,000 naira for that same commodity. If by year one, you still have not bought that commodity with the 23% average inflation rate, by year two, that same commodity will be 151,290. And then by year 3, 186,087 naira. So guys, as a recap, what we have just seen on the simulator is how 3 different people decide to make decisions with the 100,000 naira that has been given to them. The first person puts his or her own 100,000 naira in a savings account that has a 6% interest rate. Yeah, the money appreciated a bit, but it was very, very moderate. The second person decided to put his or her money in the money market funds, also known as mutual funds. And the third person just said, you know what, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have what it takes to lose a single naira. So I'm just going to keep this money. I will not touch it. Maybe that sounds like the logical thing to do. I don't want to lose money. I'm just going to keep it. I beg. I don't want problems. That sounds like the right thing to do now, Abi. But here's the thing. And this is me trying to be very conservative. I don't want to be petty. But yeah, let's tilt towards pettiness a bit. That third person that decides that, you know what, I'm just going to put this money in my account. I don't want to risk anything. Over the course of 3 years, the person doesn't even have to lift a finger. The person doesn't have to do anything. But I'm sure in 3 years' time, just by leaving that money in his or her account, that 100,000 naira will dwindle to like 95k or 97k. And this is me being conservative. By the time they remove bank charges, SMS charges, skinny con charges, that's what will be left. But let's even not be petty. Let's just leave it at that. You know what? The person just left the 100,000 naira. There was no deduction and whatnot. The person just left it there, and there was no deduction. What about inflation? What about inflation? Over the last 5 years, 2021 up until 2025, the last full calendar years, the average inflation rate that we have, by the time you calculate it over these last 5 years, is 23%. So if we are using that 23% as the base case, that means in 3 years' time, the commodity or the good or the service that you pay 100,000 naira for today, in 3 years' time, the person will have to pay 186,000 naira. Next year, it will be 123,000 naira. And that's inflation. We don't usually think about it. I'll probably also link a video I was watching yesterday.
What is your prayer point this year?
My prayer point, if God can give me the money so that I will go back to my business.
Like, how much is the minimum capital you need right now to go back to your business?
If I can see 500,000 or 1 million, it's okay for me. I will go back.
What is your hope that you can still go back to your business with that amount of capital?
My hope now is I'm trying to make a service at least every day, 2,000, 1,000. So I calculate the time so that I can rent the shop. That is my hope. I used to.
I'm just putting 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira whenever I can. I'm just putting it away towards that goal. Although he didn't say this categorically, but the way he spoke, I could tell that he probably just has like a piggy bank at home or something where he just puts money aside. But what this hardworking man doesn't know is, in a country like Nigeria, rent can never be 500k again. It should have gone up. It would have. So if you're one of those where you're just like, I don't have what it is in me, I don't want to lose money. Especially after watching the last video now, we saw how stocks and crypto and everything, how they're moving funny. I don't have the mind. Okay, put your money in mutual funds. The good thing about mutual funds is you will never lose your principal. Worst case scenario, at the end of the period, you will take your principal and go. Not a single naira will be missing from your principal, right? So there's a possibility that you can lose the interest, whatever interest that you made on that principal amount, but you won't lose the principal amount. But what about the best case scenario? Best case scenario is you walk away with your principal amount and with additional money. Put your money there. And then yes, I know we also think about emergency funds. What about if I need this money urgently? The good thing with mutual funds is you can always remove your money whenever you like. When you try to withdraw money from your mutual funds account, the, the, the credits might not be instantaneous, but I think it takes about 2 or 3 days. But you get your money. It will give you an edge over somebody that is not doing anything at all. Yes, so your mutual fund interest might not go as fast as inflation goes, but at least it will bring you a lot closer. If you recall, with the mutual funds at the end of the third year, it was at about 148,000 naira. 148,000 naira is a lot closer to 187,000 as opposed to 100,000 naira. 100,000 naira is still a bit farther to 186,000 compared to 148. So that's about it for today, guys. I hope you've learned something from today's video. Investment has its own risk, but so does doing nothing. Leaving your money, just allowing it to rest in an account, it also has its own risk. The only thing is that the risk is not as obvious. It takes a little bit of time before you begin to notice, but that risk is there. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the one mistake that beginners make when it comes to investing. And no, that mistake is not picking the wrong stock. Stay tuned to find out. Thank you so much for watching, guys.